All right, all minds clear? This is Deuteronomy or Discerning, chapter 6 and verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael,
Shema Yisrael,
Yahuwah Eloheinu,
Yahuwah Eloheinu,
Yahuwah Echad.
Yahuwah Echad.
This is Exodus or Shemot chapter 20 at verse 3. We will have no other mighty ones.
We will have no other mighty ones
Against the Most High.
against the Most High.
We will not make any carved image.
We will not make any carved image
Or any likeness.
or any likeness
Of that which is in Shamayim above.
of that which is shining above,
Or which is in the earth.
which is in the earth,
Or which is in the waters underneath the earth.
or which is in the waters underneath the earth.
We will not bow down to them.
We will not bow down to them,
Nor serve them.
nor serve
For
them.
Yahuwah
For Yahuwah
is a jealous there,
is a jealous elf,
visiting the wickedness
visiting the
of the
wickedness
fathers on the children,
of the fathers on the children,
to the third and fourth generations
to the third and fourth generation
of those that hate him,
of those that hate him,
for showing kindness
showing kindness
to thousands of those
thousands of
who
those
love him
who love
and
him
keep his commandments.
and keep his commandments.
We will not bring the name
We will not bring the name
of Yahuwah
of Yahuwah
to nothing.
to nothing.
For Yahuwah
For Yahuwah
will not leave us unpunished.
will not leave us
Who
unpunished,
brings his name to nothing.
who brings his name to nothing.
We will remember the Shabbat day
We will remember the Shabbat
to
day,
keep it Kodesh.
to keep it Kodesh.
6 days we will labor,
6 days we'll labor,
and do all our work.
and do all our
But
work.
the seventh day
But the seventh day
is the Shabbat.
is the Shabbat
Yahuwah
of Yahuwah.
For in 6 days
For in 6 days,
Yahuwah made Shamayim
Yahuwah made Shamayim
and the earth
and the earth
and the sea
and the
and
sea
all that is in them.
and all that is in
And
them.
the rest of the seventh day,
And the rest of the seventh day,
therefore Yahuwah Barak the Shabbat day.
therefore Yahuwah rocked the Shabbat day.
We will respect our father
We will respect our father
and our mother,
and our
so
mother,
that our days are long
so that our days are long
upon the earth.
upon the earth.
We will not murder.
We will not
We
murder.
will not commit adultery.
We will not commit
We
adultery.
will not steal.
We will not steal.
We will not bear false witness
We will not bear false witness
against our neighbor.
against our neighbor.
We will not covet
We will not covet
anything
anything
that is our neighbor.
that is our neighbor's.
Father, Yah, we give thanks to you on this day, first and foremost. You that sit upon the circle of the earth, Father, that you peer down and you look upon us, Father, that you clean us and clear us of all guilt, all sin, all iniquity, all transgression, Father, that this prayer may come up to you without hindrance. Father, we ask that you look upon us, Father. We have any ailments in our bodies, Father, any situation that we feel like that we can't tackle or we can't hurdle over, Father. We ask that you step in, Father, and you remove those situations, you remove those illnesses, Father, that we may be able to serve you with all our heart, mind, and our soul, Father. And even in the midst of this adversity, Father, we ask that you give us the strength to continue on and to serve you, Father. We ask that you always be with us, Father, and that you walk with us, Father, in this life. We know that it's perilous times going on, Father. We just ask that you be with us, Father. For those people that are without, Father, fatherless, motherless, homeless, Father, those that need food, Father, we ask that you oblige them according to your Ruach, Father. That you give them according to their works, Father, that they may know and esteem you. We ask that your Ruach rain down in this place, Father, that we may be able to receive wisdom, knowledge, understanding, discernment of your scriptures, Father. And we may be able to leave here better than what we came, Father. And that we may know to serve you at all times, at all costs, no matter what's going on in our lives, Father. All these things we pray and we give thanks. Hashem Yahuwah, Wamekaya, Hoshua, Hamashiach, Ruach HaKodesh, so be it.
So be it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Oh, you got to work.
Rule the room.
Mute your phones, mute your phones, mute your phones. No, but you want to use mine? Shai, is that yours? We got any visitors? Anybody coming new for the first time? Anybody's first time here? Other than Maccabees. You know what I'm saying? You understand?
I came from IURC, brother.
Welcome.
You talk about welcome. You talk about welcome.
Better question. Any faces we ain't seen in a while? Usually we all are. There we go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome back. Welcome back. We still here. You know, it's a little earlier. You know what I'm saying? Same message. All praises to the Most High.
All praises to the Most High.
Welcome back. All right, so without further ado,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we're gonna continue from where we left off from last week. So in the last scripture that we was in, it was basically showing us that it was death from basically one end of the earth to the other end of the earth, right? Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
For the few that was here?
Yes, sir.
All right, it was like basically death from one end of the earth to the other. And what was the bodies left to be done with? Absolutely.
Return to grace.
It was food for the birds, so to speak. Now let me ask y'all, why do y'all think so many people gonna perish at that time? Anyone? No takers?
Pride.
Definitely pride. But let's go behind that. All pride is gonna be the answer to everything, but we gotta be a little more
what
specific.
aspect of it? What is it? Right. What is dealing with?
So it's gonna be great death going on at this time. Let's see something. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 11. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 16.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 11 at verse 16. Take heed to yourselves.
Do what?
Take heed to yourselves.
Yeah.
That your heart be not deceived.
That's a what?
That your heart be not deceived.
He says, take heed to yourself that your heart be not deceived. Take heed to yourselves that your heart be not deceived. Read that one more time.
Take heed to yourselves that your heart be not deceived, and you turn aside and serve other gods and worship them.
So he's letting you know, do not be deceived, do not turn aside and worship other mighty ones. Give me Luke 21.
Luke 21.
Pick it up at verse 6.
Luke chapter 21 at verse 6. As for these things which you behold, the days will come in which there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, take heed that you be not deceived.
He said what?
Take heed that you be not deceived.
So now we got the law telling us not to be deceived, and we got Mashiach telling us what?
Not to be deceived.
To be deceived. Read verse 8 again.
And he said, this is verse 8, and he said, take heed that you be not deceived. For many come in my name.
For what?
For many come in my name.
For many gonna come in his name, read,
saying, I am Mashiach.
So the people that's gonna come in his name is gonna admit that he is the Messiah. This doesn't mean that they're gonna say that they are the Messiah. It means that they're gonna admit or believe that he is the Messiah. Right? Read.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and the time draweth near. Go you not therefore after them.
You said what?
Go you not therefore after them.
Don't go forth after them. Because these people that's admitting that he's the Messiah, they're going to turn around and deceive you. 2 Timothy 3:12. So the reason why a lot of the death is going to be at this time is because of these things.
2 Timothy chapter 3 at verse 12. Yeah. And all that will live godly in Yahushua HaMashiach shall suffer persecution.
They shall what?
Suffer persecution.
So everybody that really walks his walk shall suffer persecution. Read.
But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived.
So they're going to be deceiving and being deceived. Do this sound like any people that's amongst us walking the earth right now? It says these people are going to, but evil men. So these are people that quote unquote believe that he is the Messiah. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. So not only is they deceiving, but they being deceived themselves. We pray that we ain't in that equation. Verse 14.
But continue you in the things which you have learned and have been assured of, knowing of whom you have learned them.
Knowing what?
Knowing of whom you have learned them.
All right, give me Revelation chapter 18, 23.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in you, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in you. For your merchants were the great men of the earth. For by your sorceries were all nations deceived.
How many?
All nations deceived.
Some nations.
All nations deceived.
He said all nations is deceived. Not a couple spread out here and there, but all nations are deceived. Now, when we come into this walk, a lot of us think that we can't be deceived anymore, right? That's being deceived right there with the thought process that you can't be deceived. As we was talking about last night, we can go outside and drive down the street and drive to a whole different state across the country, and we'll see it's all flat with our own two eyes. But we'll let somebody on TV tell us that we're living on a ball. That's how easy it is to be deceived. Right? We'll let you tell me that it's an invisible force called gravity that's holding everything down, but yet a butterfly can fly off. That's how easy it is to be deceived. Just that simple, right? And we can see this with our own eyes. Very easy. Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24. Verse 22.
Matthew chapter 24 at verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
So it's going to be a madman on this face of this earth that's going to try to kill up everything. Not some people, but everything. And it's going to be so bad that Messiah got to shorten his reign of him doing it. If he didn't, he would kill everything and everybody. Read that one more time.
And except those days be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Mashiach, or there, believe it not.
Do what?
Believe it not.
Believe it not. Because there's some people going to try to point you to the madman. He out there. Go to where he at. He's telling you right here, don't believe it. But because this madman is going to be doing some stuff, a lot of people is going to run to him. John 14. Now I pick up verse 15.
John chapter 14 at verse 15. If you love me,
You do what?
if you love me,
If you what?
if you love me,
If you love me. This is a plain statement, right? If you love me. He said that Israel is his what to him?
What?
His wife. Right? So he got to test his wife to see if you really love me or is you just talking. Right? Because a lot of people just do this, right? Just be talking, right? So you got to put you to a test to see. Got to find out if y'all really love me. Read.
if you love me, keep my commandments.
Do what?
Keep my commandments.
If you love me, keep my commandments. Read.
And I will praise the Father, and he shall give you another comforter, that he may abide with you forever.
How long?
Forever.
Forever. Jump down to verse 21.
He that hath my commandments and keep them, he it is that love me.
If you keep them, you prove that you actually love them. Right? Read on.
And he that love me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him and will manifest myself to him.
You will do what?
Manifest myself to him.
So if you shall be loved of my Father, and he will manifest himself to us if you actually keep his commandments. But a lot of this stuff is always lip service. Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 8. Let's start this one. All right. Hold on, what's that? Oh, he said it's on. It's on.
Okay.
All right.
Jeremiah chapter 9 at verse 8. Their tongue is as an arrow shot out. It speak deceit.
It does what?
It speak deceit.
He told us to be not what?
Deceit.
Be not deceived. Read that from the top again.
Their tongue is as an arrow shot out. It speak deceit. One speak peaceably to his neighbor.
You say what?
One speak peaceably to his neighbor.
One speaks peaceably to his neighbor. What's really there?
With his mouth.
With his what?
With his mouth.
Go ahead.
But in heart, he laid his weight.
So with his mouth, he said, I love you. But in his heart, what was there? Read that again.
Their tongue is as an arrow shot out.
So they speak this. Go ahead.
It speak deceit. One speak peaceably to his neighbor.
He says one speak peaceably to his neighbor, but what?
With his mouth, but in heart he lay his weight.
But what?
In heart he lay his weight.
But in heart he lays in wait. Isaiah 29 verse 13.
That's crazy. Isaiah chapter 29 at verse 13. Wherefore Yahuwah said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth.
But what?
Draw near me with their mouth.
So he says, for as much as these people draw near to me with their mouth, that means they got lip service going on. Read.
And with their lips do honor me.
And what?
Their lips do honor me.
So they talk a good game with their lips. They do honor me. But what?
But have removed their heart far from me. And their fear towards me is taught by the precept of men.
By what?
The precept of men.
By Yah's precepts.
The precept of men.
What's the precept? Right?
Command.
By the commandments of men. Revelation 13. Well, it ain't enough for you to just say that you love them. I gotta see. I gotta see. Do you really? Revelation 13:11.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb. And he spake as a dragon.
Wait a minute. Read that one more time.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. He had two horns like a lamb.
Like a what?
Like a lamb.
So when you hear the word the lamb, what does that make you think of?
Yeah.
Mashiach, right? He the lamb, right? Two horns like a lamb, but what?
And he spake as a dragon.
So he looked like Mashiach, but he speak like what?
A dragon.
But he speak like a dragon. What could that mean? Who is the dragon? So he looked like Mashiach, but speak like the dragon. Keep that in mind. Read on.
And he exercised all power of the first beast before, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Go ahead.
Whose deadly wound was healed. And he do great wonders.
He do what?
Great wonders.
He do great wonders. Go ahead.
So that he make fire come down from Shamayim on the earth in the sight of men.
He's gonna do it so that people can see it. He make fire come down from Shamayim on the earth in the sight of men. Read.
And deceive them.
What did Mashiach tell us to do what?
Be not deceived.
He says, be not deceived. What did the commandments tell us? Be not deceived and go after your heart and worship other gods. Right? Read on.
And deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
Which he had what?
Power to do in the sight of the beast.
Which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Go ahead.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast.
What does the commandment say? What does the second commandment say?
Make no graven image.
Wow. It's gonna make you do it. Read on.
Which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he,
what?
Which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Which had the wound by a sword and did live. Now, through the book, do we see Satan quoting scripture?
Yeah.
Y'all think he know the book? Yeah. He know the book. But he always gonna twist it to fit how he wanted to fit. Like we got a lot of people, the same people that confess they know Mashiach, they understand the book somewhat, but they twist it to fit what they wanted to fit. Get me Isaiah 40:3.
Isaiah chapter 40 at verse 3. The voice of him that cry in the wilderness, prepare you the way of Yahuwah.
Hold on, where's the voice at?
The voice of him that cry in the wilderness.
Crying where?
In the wilderness.
What's another word for wilderness?
Desert.
Desert. Read on.
Prepare you the way of Yahuwah.
Prepare what?
The way of Yahuwah.
Go ahead.
Make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim.
So, what is this prophecy right here talking about?
Pick me.
What was this prophecy talking about?
It wasn't John the Baptist. It was? Oh, okay. That's your favorite.
Yes.
Okay.
So this was a prophecy of John the Baptist making straight the way for Messiah. Right? But where is this supposed to take place at? In the desert, right?
Right.
Keep that in mind. This is supposed to take place in the desert, but it already took place. Right? Keep that in mind. Malachi chapter 4. Malachi chapter 4. Pick it up at verse 5.
Malachi chapter 4 at verse 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahuwah.
He said, I'm going to do what?
I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahuwah.
He says, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yah. Let's see what Elijah's supposed to do. Read verse 6.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
So Elijah is supposed to come and turn the people back to the fathers. He's supposed to restore things before y'all come and smite the earth, right? What did Elijah do when he was on the earth?
Prophesied.
Not John the Baptist. What did Elijah do?
Oh, here, right, raise the dead, cure sickness, all that. First king.
That's what he did. What's he famous for?
Oh,
We'll get it.
Going into heaven. Yeah, that's true. Right? When somebody.
He never died, right?
Right, yeah.
Keep that in mind. Back to Revelation 13. Pick it up at verse 12.
Revelation chapter 13 at verse 12. And he exercised all power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he do great wonders, so that he make the fire come down from Shamaim on the earth in the sight of men.
Do what?
Make fire come down from Shamaim on the earth in the sight of men.
Go ahead.
And deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles.
So how did he deceive them?
Yeah.
By the means of those miracles.
So this is how he deceived them. Hold that. Give me 2 Kings chapter 1, verse 10. Second Kings chapter 1, verse 10.
2 Kings chapter 1 at verse 10. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, if I be a man of Elohim, then let fire come down from Shamaim.
He said this in the sight of the people. He says, if I be a man of Elohim. Read that again.
And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, if I be a man of Elohim, then let fire come down from Shamaim and consume you and your 50. And there came down from Shamaim and consumed him and his 50.
So Elijah made a direct statement. If I be a man of Yah, let fire come down and consume these people. Right? Direct. He didn't say nothing else. He made sure to say, if I be a man of Elohim, let the fire come down. Right? Jump down to verse 12.
Verse 12. And Elijah answered and said unto them, if I be a man of Elohim, let fire come down from Shamaim and consume you and your 50. And fire of Elohim came down from Shamaim and consumed him and his 50.
So when he asked this thing, it actually took place. It happened. Right? It happened. He said, if I be a man of you, let the fire come down and consume him. 2 times he's asked this. 2 times this has been granted. Right? Verse 13.
And he sent again a captain of the third 50 with his 50. And the third captain of the 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah and besought him and said unto him, O man of Elohim.
Oh, what?
O man of Elohim.
So this man is starting to believe because of these miracles. Read.
I pray you, let my life and the life of these 50 your servants
Read.
be precious in your sight. Behold, there came fire down from Shamaim and burnt up the 2 captains of the former 50s with their 50s. Therefore, let my life now be precious in your sight.
Go ahead.
And the angel of Yahuwah said unto Elijah, go down with him. Be not afraid of him. And he arose and went down with him unto the king.
1 Kings chapter 18. First Kings chapter 18 and verse 36.
First Kings chapter 18 and verse 36.
Now this is when Elijah was in the battle with the prophets of Baal. Right? Read.
But the people held their peace and answered him not a word. For the king's commandment was saying,
Where you at?
first, oh, that's Second Kings. Salakia. My bad, y'all. That was Second Kings. 1 Kings 18 and 36. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near.
Elijah the what?
Elijah the prophet.
Elijah the prophet. Is somebody over there that's called a false what?
False prophet.
False prophet. Read on.
Elijah the prophet came near and said, Yahuwah Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and of Israel, let it be known this day that you are Elohim in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Yahuwah, hear me, that this people may know that you are Yahuwah Elohim.
So he's doing something in front of the people, for the people to see it. Says that the guy made fire come down in the sight of men, so everybody can see it. Read.
And that you have turned their heart back again.
That they what?
And that you have turned their heart back again.
What does Malachi 4 say that he's going to do before the great and terrible day? He's going to send Elijah to do what?
Turn hearts.
Read on.
Hear me, O Yahuwah. Hear me, that this people may know that you are Elohim, and that you have turned their hearts back again. Then the fire of Yahuwah fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and lit up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, Yahuwah, he is Elohim. Yahuwah, he is Elohim.
So because these people saw this miracle, they believed in Yah, right? So what if this person comes and claims that he is Elijah? Elijah never died, right? Everybody know that Elijah's supposed to come back before the great and terrible day, right? What if this person comes out and says, I'm Elijah, and then he do what Elijah did? Would you be fooled?
You have to be something.
You wouldn't be fooled now because you're listening.
Right.
But would you be fooled beforehand?
Absolutely.
Because Elijah's supposed to come back, right? But this person gonna do the same stuff that Elijah was doing, right? Making the fire come down from heaven in the sight of the people and make you run right after him. Be not deceived. But most people gonna be deceived. Deuteronomy. How will you not be deceived?
It got to be something that he's doing that's different than what Elijah did. Or ain't the same, it's something he ain't lining up with the law.
Anybody for 1,000 points. We went over this before. How do you not be deceived?
Now,
Could I get the 1,000?
gotta know the law.
No. He gonna come back, but it's before you.
He gonna tell you the worst.
Does that go back to that?
Not to worship other gods.
What part of the law?
Exodus 20.
Just gave you the
11:16.
gave you the chapter.
11:16, but 11:16.
Well, he gave you the book.
Deuteronomy.
Which chapter?
You gotta notice.
I know I can be searching.
This is soul saving. You must know this. and we went over it, I don't know how many times.
1,000.
In order to not be deceived by the miracle, you must notice Deuteronomy 13. Oh wait, no, he said Deuteronomy 13. I got it.
So you said third. That was like 13. You was on your way to 18, wasn't you?
I was on my way to 30. I was on my way to 30.
You was on 30. Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 1. If there arise among you a prophet.
If there do what?
Arise among you a prophet.
If there arise among you a prophet. Go ahead.
Or a dreamer of dreams. And give you a sign.
Do what?
And give you a sign.
And give you a sign.
Or a wonder.
He said he's going to do great wonders in the sight of the people. Read.
And the sign or the wonder come to pass.
And if it happens, if it takes place, read.
Wherefore he spake unto you, saying, let us go after other gods.
Elijah's supposed to turn you back to the Father. This person is going to turn you away from him. The law has to show you this. So one is going to turn you away from Yah, and Elijah will turn you to the Father. But the same miracles.
Same fear.
Finish that out.
And the sign of the wonder come to pass. Wherefore he spake unto you, saying, let us go after other gods, which you have not known, and let us serve them. You shall not listen to the words of that prophet.
Don't listen to him. Even if the signs and wonders take place, even if he make the fire come down from the Shamayim in your sight, if he say anything opposite of what is written, you should know off the rip. Get away from this dude. Right? Run far away. He's about to get you. Read.
Or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahuwah your Elohim prove you to know whether you love Yahuwah.
Remember, he says, if you love me, you'll do what?
Keep my commandments.
You'll keep my commandments. So this is a test. He's going to test you with this guy. Just like when he gave us the Shabbat the first time, he says, I'm going to give them my Shabbat and test them and see will they serve me. So this guy going to be the test to see if you follow what he say do. Or are you going to be caught up in the miracle? That's got to be him, bro. You saw that? Most going to be caught up in it. Because most of us actually love to be lied to, which is a sad thing, but it's the truth.
Safety.
Read that last verse again.
That you shall not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahuwah your Elohim prove you to know whether you love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul.
Go ahead.
Keep going. You shall walk after Yahuwah your Elohim and fear him, keep his commandments, obey his voice, and you shall serve him, cleave unto him, and that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death.
What's going to happen to the false prophet?
Put to death.
Exactly like the law says. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death. Go ahead.
Because he hath spoken to turn you away from Yahuwah your Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust you out the way which Yahuwah your Elohim commanded you to walk in, so shall you put the evil away from the midst of you.
Go ahead.
If your brother, the son of your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend, which is in your own soul, entice you secretly.
If you do what?
Entice you secretly.
He say, I don't care who it is. Your mama, your daddy, your child, your friend. I don't care who it is. If they come and tell you something opposite of what I got written secretly on the low, That stuff. I don't know if y'all know, we got a lot of witch stuff going on in Israel right now.
Oh Lord.
Verse 6 again.
If your brother, the son of your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend, which is in your own soul, entice you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which you have not known, you know your fathers, namely, of the gods of the people which are round about you, near to you, or far off from you, from the one end of the earth, even to the other end of the earth.
That means everywhere.
Any other one.
Go ahead.
You shall not consent to him, nor listen to him. Neither shall your eye pity him, neither shall you spare, neither shall you conceal him.
So you can't even hide it and say, dang, man, it went off. You got to put it out there. Yep. And you try to get me to serve, tell me your name is Yah Allah.
What the hell? Combine two names.
Come to the land. It's all the same. I'm a Christian, I'm a Jew,
Can't conceal it. You gotta let it be known.
Can't conceal it. You gotta put it out there. Go ahead.
But you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people.
So you can see this is the way that you know a false prophet when you see one. I don't care what the miracle is, what he do in your sight, walk down a wall, walk on water, whatever it be. If he speak opposite of what is written, you know he is not of Yah. That's clear?
So we got people going to the land, but he's saying Allah is the right one. He's pointing you somewhere else.
Yes.
Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to him. So this is why there's going to be so much death, because the people going to be following this stuff and they're going to be eating it up. They're going to be bragging on the beast, saying who is able to make war with him, who can mess with him. And the reason they're going to be talking so big and bad, why y'all think they're going to be talking so bad?
To deceive us.
Pride is definitely there. That's always the answer.
Every answer from now on. Somebody, at least one, just don't say pride. Why did he make the pancakes this morning? Pride. Hey, want to go put them waffles? That was pride. That was
Always the pride. So this is right. Coming out of this, all this death, again, Matthew 24. One more time. Pick it up at verse 26.
Matthew 24, verse 26. Wherefore, if they shall say to you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not.
Do what?
Believe it not.
So again, we know that this stuff gonna take place in the desert. This is why Messiah is straightly telling us, don't go. He there, let's go. Well, we all supposed to see him when he come. It's not gonna be pretty when he come. We talking thunder, earthquakes, the whole sky black, everything. You're gonna know it. So don't be deceived. But we got people deceiving people right now to do it.
Right now, starting it off. People that believe.
It's terrible. Hold on.
Mercy, man.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna need it. So this is right as all of this death is taking place. Get Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24, pick it up at about verse 19.
Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 19. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage.
Like what?
Like a cottage.
Go ahead.
And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. It shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall punish the host of the high ones.
So do what?
Punish the host of the high ones.
This is talking about Satan and his minions. Read.
That are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners, and gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days shall they be visited.
After what?
Many days shall they be visited.
After many days shall they be visited. Revelation chapter 20 and verse 1. This is them being locked into the pit. Old Testament, New Testament.
Revelation chapter 20 and verse 1. And I saw Malak come down from Shamaim, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Shaitan, and bound him 1,000 years.
How long?
1,000 years.
So when we read in Isaiah, it says, and after many days they shall be visited, because they're going to be shut up in the pit. This is the same pit. Go ahead.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, until the 1,000 years shall be fulfilled.
Until what?
Until the 1,000 years shall be fulfilled.
Until the 1,000 years are to be fulfilled. Read.
And after that, he must be loosed a little season.
Go ahead.
And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them.
Matter of fact, we're good right there. Okay. So he'll be locked away for 1,000 years in the pit. Him and all the wicked angels with him will be locked away for 1,000 years. So it's going to be some people that's going to make it through this. The people of Philadelphia won't suffer any of this stuff that's going on. Why won't they suffer any of this? What does Philadelphia mean? Brotherly love, right? And in order to have brotherly love, you can't have no what?
Pride.
No pride.
That was the right answer, y'all. This time. Put it out there for you.
Yeah. That was the right one. So on this one, because these two things cannot coexist in the same place. It's either one is there or the other. So the people of Philadelphia is going to make it through, but the rest of them going to have to suffer and go through a bunch of this stuff that's going to take place. Because they got themselves together without y'all having to do it. That's why the script says, humble yourself. I'm not going to do it, but when I do it, you ain't going to like it. So we all are blessed to have understanding on this already to start working on it.
So yeah.
Right? 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. Because the earth is completely ruined at this particular moment.
1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. For the master himself shall descend from Shamaim with a shout.
With what?
With a shout.
That's the last trumpet. Read.
with the voice of an archangel, and with the trump of Elohim, and the dead in Mashiach shall rise first.
So do what?
Rise first.
This is the first resurrection. So he's letting you know that the people that survive this is going to be caught up with these people. This is the first resurrection. Read that again.
For Yahuwah himself shall descend from Shamaim with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trump of Elohim, and the dead in Mashiach shall rise first.
So this is the first resurrection. Right? Go ahead.
Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the cloud to meet the master in the air, and so shall we ever be with the master.
So you got to go up like Noah and his family went up when the waters took them up to escape what was on the earth at this time. Right? So Philly up there, Philly definitely there. But the rest of the people, it's going to be people that's going to be left down here. All right? So now these people are taken up to the new Jerusalem. Now let's go through that. Psalm 68. Psalm 68, verse 15.
Psalms chapter 68 and verse 15. The hill of Elohim is as the hill of Bashan, and high hill as the hill of Bashan. Why leap you, you high hills? This is the hill which the Most High desired to dwell in. Yeah, Yahuwah will dwell in it forever.
How long?
Forever.
This is talking about the new Jerusalem. He desired to dwell in it. Yea, Yahuwah will dwell in it forever. Psalms 132, verse 13.
Psalm 132, verse 13. For Yahuwah hath chosen Zion.
Chosen where?
Zion.
Yeah.
He hath desired it for his habitation. This is my rest forever.
How long?
Forever.
Forever. Go ahead.
Here will I dwell, for I have desired it.
For what?
I have desired it.
So this is my rest forever. Here will I dwell, for I have desired it. Well, this is the place. Psalms 87.
Psalm 87, verse 1.
Yeah, verse 1.
Verse 1. His foundation is in the Kodesh mountains. Yahuwah loved the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob.
More than what?
All the dwellings of Jacob.
Go ahead.
Esteemed things are spoken of you, O city of Elohim. I will make mention of Rahab and Babylon to them that know me. Behold, Philistia, Tyre with Ethiopia. This man was born there. And of Zion it shall be said, this and that man was born in her. And the highest himself shall establish her.
So what?
Shall establish her.
Read that verse 5 again.
And Zion, and of Zion it shall be said, this and that man was born in her. and the highest himself shall establish her.
And the highest himself shall establish her. So it's talking about this holy place that he said he's desired to live in forever. Revelations 21:10. Revelations chapter 21, verse 10.
Revelation 21:10. And he carried me away in a ruach to a great and high mountain. And he showed me the great city, the Kodesh Jerusalem, descending out of Shamaim from Elohim.
Where is it coming from?
Descending out of Shamaim from Elohim.
Descending out of Shamaim. So the Kodesh city is over there in the land, but it's above that Jerusalem. Not the one that they're trying to get you to come to, but it's the one that's above that the veil is covering. That's going to be ripped back when he actually come down. And you're going to actually see it. That's why I put the questions out there about if Nimrod, if the Shamaim was really like 93 million miles away, would it make sense for Nimrod and them to try to build something to get there?
Absolutely not.
Wouldn't make any sense with it. That's why I tell you in that Isaiah 14 that he says, I set my throne above the heights of the clouds. He's giving you like a reference point, right? It's like if you say, come to my house, I'm past the McDonald's. That's a reference point, meaning it's not that far away, like we've been taught. Actually, really, really not that far away. Ezekiel 40:2. So this is what John's seen. So we're going to go back and forth, Old Testament, New Testament, to pull something out.
Ezekiel chapter 40, and verse 2. In the visions of Elohim brought he me into the land of Israel and set me upon a very high mountain, by which was as the frame of a city on the south.
So this is Ezekiel seeing the same thing that John is seeing. So the people will say that Ezekiel is right, but they won't rock with what John is saying. But it's what? It's the same thing. Oh, JC ain't nothing. We're going to see all that. Maybe we ain't going to get there today, but we're going to see it. Read that again.
And in the vision of Elohim, which brought me into the land of Israel, and set me upon a very high mountain, by which was as the frame of a city on the south.
Which was what?
As the frame of a city on the south.
The frame of a city on the south. It's that city, New Jerusalem. Isaiah 14:13.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 13. But you have said in your heart, I will ascend into Shamaim, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim, and I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
And where?
The sides of the north.
In the sides of the north. Where is the sides of the north? Is that talking about North America or North Korea?
North Dakota.
North Dakota. Wow.
North Pole. North Pole.
Yeah, that's North Dakota. Hey,
We not that
that's
far.
the North Pole.
We not that far.
Verse 14.
Verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
So he says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. This is something that's It's not that far away. He ain't that far away from us. When he get ready to open that thing and look down, it's going to be the worst. It's going to be the absolute worst. That man that you said don't exist, don't pull that curtain back and you see him in fire. It's going to be the absolute worst. So let's find out where the sides of the north at, so we don't make something up. Psalms 48. Psalms 48. Pick it up in verse 1.
Psalms chapter 48, verse 1. Great is Yahuwah, and greatly to be praised in the city of our Elohim.
And where?
In the city of our Elohim.
In the city of our Elohim. Go ahead.
In the mountain of his Kodeshness.
Is that the land that everybody in over there right now? Oh, go ahead.
Beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion. On the sides of the north, the city of the great king.
The what?
The city of the great king.
So it's talking about the heavenly Jerusalem, not the one that the people are telling you to go to. This is talking about the one that's got to come down from Shamayim, and it's going to come down. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 3. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 3.
Zechariah chapter 8 and verse 3. Thus saith Yahuwah, I am returned unto Zion.
What?
I am returned unto Zion.
That means he had to go somewhere. Return. Go ahead.
And will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem should be called a city of truth. And the mountain of Yahuwah of hosts, the Kodesh mountain.
Is that land over there a city of truth right now? Ain't we? They got gay parades and all type of stuff going on over there. Read that verse again.
Thus saith Yahuwah, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth.
A what?
A city of truth.
It will be called the city of truth, which is yet to come. I believe it's soon. Joel chapter 3, verse 17.
That's great.
Joel chapter 3, verse 17.
Joel chapter 3, verse 17. So shall you know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim, dwelling in Zion, my Kodesh mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be Kodesh, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore.
No stranger shall pass through her anymore. This is the new one. Revelation chapter 4. Yeah, they won't make it. They won't be considered. You'll see. Revelation chapter 4.
Revelation chapter 4.
Pick it up at verse 2.
Verse 2. And immediately I was in the Ruach, and behold, a throne was set in Shamayim, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in the sight like unto an emerald. And round about the throne were 24 seats. And upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices. And there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 ruachs of Elohim.
Verse 9.
And when those beasts give esteem and honor and thanks to him that sat on the throne, who lived forever and ever.
How long?
who live forever and ever.
Who live forever and ever. So wherever his throne is at, that's the place. You gotta find out that. Hebrews 12:2.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 2. Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the stake, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Elohim.
So down where?
At the right hand of the throne of Elohim.
Set at the right hand of the throne of Elohim. So he's by the throne of Yah. Revelation 7:15.
Revelation chapter 7 and verse 15. Therefore are they before the throne of Elohim, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sit on the throne shall dwell among them.
He that what?
Sit on the throne shall dwell among them.
This is after all of the death and killing, after he take these people back to the mansions that he has made, he's going to finally set between you or amongst you. Jeremiah 3:17.
Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 17. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahuwah, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahuwah, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart.
Read that one more time.
At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahuwah.
At this time, they're going to call Jerusalem the throne of Elohim. Read.
And all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahuwah, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart.
So they won't walk after their evil hearts at this moment. Ezekiel 43:7.
Ezekiel 43 and verse 7. And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever.
Read that one more time.
And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet.
Let you know the place of the soles of my feet. So before it was, he sits on the circle of the earth, but now it's talking about his feet. It's going to be somewhere directly. Read that one more time.
And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever.
How long?
Forever.
Forever. Get me Revelations 22.
Revelation chapter 22 and verse 1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb. And in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there a tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruit.
How many?
12 manner of fruit.
12 manner of fruit. Go ahead.
And yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were the healing of the nations.
For who?
Were for the healing of the nations.
So at this time, it will still be mortal people that will need to be healed. He says that the tree of life is there for the healing of the nations with 12 manner of fruit to be eaten from it. So these people at this moment will be like what Adam was in the beginning. Will still have to eat from this tree in order to survive. And we're going to find out that they're going to reject it. Isaiah 24:23.
Isaiah chapter 24 at verse 23. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when Yahuwah of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously.
So why would the moon be confounded and the sun ashamed at this moment? Why is that? Anybody?
Well, does this have anything to do where in Jeremiah it said if the sun and the moon ever go away, the children of Israel won't be my people anymore?
No.
Let it go be rain a month, so then be the light shining over you.
There you go. That's exactly it. It says because Yah and the Lamb gonna be the light of it. So they was basically they so bright that in the city it won't be no need for the moon and the sun
The Most
in it
High gonna be
anymore.
the sun, and the Mashiach gonna be the moon.
Well, it don't say that. It just say they the light of it.
Right.
So there's no need for these things
I'm just saying,
in the city anymore.
The greater light and the moon is the lesser. So,
Greater light and lesser light.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Greater and lesser. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Don't say that.
Say it in Genesis, bro.
Isaiah 60.
Fuck.
Isaiah 60 and verse 1.
Isaiah 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light is come, and the esteem of Yahuwah is risen upon you. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yahuwah shall arise upon you, and his esteem shall be seen upon you. And the Gentiles shall come to your light.
They're gonna do what?
Come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising.
This is when that reproach has finally been taken off of the children of Israel. This thing that these people just hate you for no reason is because it's a reproach on you. Read verse 3 again.
And the Gentiles shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes round about and see. All they gather themselves together. They come to you. Your son shall come from far. Your daughter shall be nursed at your side.
How is it?
Your son shall come from far. Your daughter shall be nursed at your side.
Jump down to verse 19.
Verse 19. The sun shall be no more your light by day, neither for the brightness shall the moon give the light unto you, but Yahuwah shall be unto you an everlasting light, and your Elohim your esteem. The sun shall be no more your light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto you.
Just like you said, so they the light of it. Go ahead.
But Yahuwah shall be unto you an everlasting light, and your Elohim your esteem.
Go ahead.
Your sun shall no more go down, neither shall the moon withdraw itself. For Yahuwah shall be your everlasting light, and the days of your mourning shall be ended.
It's a what?
Be ended.
The days of your mourning is finally going to be ended. Revelations 21:23. Old and New Testament.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 23. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it. For the esteem of Elohim did lighten it.
For the what?
For the esteem of Elohim did lighten it. And the Lamb is the light thereof.
And what?
The Lamb is the light thereof.
So both books are saying same thing, right? But a lot of people reject it from Revelation. That's why we going to show it from both old and new. Jeremiah 33:16. This is describing the 1,000 years, how it's going to start. Jeremiah 33:16.
Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 16. In those days shall Yehuda be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. And this is the name wherewith she shall be called, Yahuwah our righteousness.
So the city is going to be called what?
Yahuwah our righteousness.
So right here it says, this Judah going to be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. And this is the name wherewith she shall be called, Yahuwah our righteousness. Ezekiel 37. Old and new.
Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 26. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them, and shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore.
You're going to do what?
Set his sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore.
How long?
Forevermore.
Go ahead.
My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yeah, I will be their Elohim. They shall be my people. And this is verse 28 now.
Go ahead.
And the heathen shall know that I, Yahuwah, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore.
It's going to let the heathens know, this is my people. Ezekiel 43, verse 7.
Ezekiel chapter 48, verse 7. And by the border of Reuben.
No, my bad. Ezekiel 43, verse 7.
Ezekiel chapter 43, verse 7. And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever, and my Kodesh name shall the house of Israel no more defile, neither they, nor their kings, nor by their whoredom, nor by the carcasses of their kings in their high places, in the setting of their threshold by my thresholds, and their their posts by my posts, and the wall between me and them. They have even defiled my Kodesh name by their abomination that they have committed, whereof I have consumed them in my anger. Now let them put away their whoredom and the carcasses of their kings far from me, and I will dwell in the midst of them forever.
How long?
Forever.
Forever. Ezekiel 48, 35.
Ezekiel 48, 35. It was round about 18,000 measures, and the name of the city from that day shall be Yahuwah is there.
What is it?
Yahuwah is there.
So the name of the city gonna be Yahuwah is where?
It's there.
Is there. So remember, he took some of his people up there with the city, but it's got to come down. Revelation 21 and 3.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of Shamaim saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Elohim himself shall be with them, and be their Elohim.
Read that one more time.
And I heard a great voice out of Shamaim saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Elohim shall be with them, and be their Elohim.
Jump down to verse 25.
Verse 25, and the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, but there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the esteem and honor of nations unto it. And there shall in no wise enter into anything that defile.
So nothing that's wicked or lying, do anything opposite of his law, can enter into this city. Read that verse one more time.
And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defile, neither whatsoever work abomination, or make a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life.
So this is again after all of this death, after all of these wars and stuff take place, he's gonna take these certain people, the first people that resurrect and the people that's alive and is coming, they're gonna all go up and go into this mansion with him, like he says, in my Father's house are many mansions. So these people are gonna go up and be there. And then imagine they're gonna be sad because a lot of people are gonna be what? Your family members is gonna be dead. So it'll be a sad thing, and this is after the wars take place. Isaiah, now matter of fact, Revelations 21, pick it up at verse 3 again.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of Shamaim saying, behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Elohim himself shall be with them, and be their Elohim. And Elohim shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
You're gonna do what?
Wipe away all tears from their eyes.
We gotta wipe away all tears from their eyes. Why is that? Go ahead.
And there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
For the what?
The former things are passed away.
For the former things are passed away. So he says, this is after the wars take place, that he got to wipe the tears away from the people, say all these former things have passed away. So at this moment, won't be no more war, no more crying, no more sorrow, none of these things, because these people now are going to take on his nature and be like what he is. All right? Mm-hmm. Deuteronomy 24, verse 5. So remember, this is after the wars.
Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 5. And when a man hath taken a new wife.
That's what?
When a man hath taken a new wife.
So I saw New Jerusalem come down, prepared as a bride. Read on.
When a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war.
He shall what?
Not go out to war.
This means he just finished a war with all of this killing. So what he got to do? Go ahead.
When a man hath taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife.
He got to do what?
Cheer up his wife.
Same thing. So all of this pain and sorrow, he says, and Yah shall wipe away the tears from them. No more pain, no more crying after the war. You got to do what?
Cheer up his wife.
We got to cheer up his wife. All the way back in the law, showing this, that after the war, you can't go back out the war for a year, but a year to Yah is like what?
Yeah, probably like
It's the same thing on this one.
You feel me?
oh no,
So
His
he got to wipe away the tears. No more crying. No more pain, right? Read that verse one more time.
Verse 5. When a man hath taken a new wife, He shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he hath taken.
Cheer up his wife which he hath taken. Remember, no more tears. Isaiah 25. Pick it up at verse 7.
Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people.
You're going to do what?
He will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations.
So we got this veil that's concealing where he at. It's going to be removed. Now people going to actually get to see him for what he is, how he actually looks. But you know you got to actually be a certain way to be in his presence. Read on.
And
verse 8.
He will swallow up death in victory, and the master Elohim will wipe away tears from off all faces, and rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth, for Yahuwah has spoken it.
So no more crying, no more suffering, no more death. Old and new, it says, and he will swallow up death in victory, and Yahuwah Elohim will wipe away tears from off all faces, and the rebuke of his people. So that thing that makes these people despise you, you're going to take it away. And the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off the earth, from Yahuwah, for Yahuwah have spoken it. Revelation 7:17.
Revelation chapter 7 and verse 17. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains of water, and Elohim shall wipe away all tears from their eyes.
So we got the same thing, old and new. But the only reason I'm doing this because a lot of people, if we were to just read it from the New Testament, they would reject it. But it's in both books, back to back, saying what? The same thing. Revelation 21, verse 4.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 4. And Elohim shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
Jump back to verse 1.
Verse 1. And I saw a new Shamayim.
I saw what?
A new Shamayim.
And a what?
And a new earth.
Because everything is completely destroyed at this moment. That's why he had to take his people up and out of the way. Read.
And the first Shamayim and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea.
There was what?
There was no more sea.
There is no more sea. But notice it's singular, not seas or oceans, because it's actually really only one. And we are surrounded by water on all sides of this thing. But how will he get rid of all of this water? What gets rid of water?
Fire.
Because fire is going to be where?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. It's going to evaporate it. So it won't be any more sea. It's going to be way more land than it is at this moment. Go ahead.
And I, John, saw the Kodesh city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Elohim out of Shamayim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Prepared what?
As a bride adorned for her husband.
So now the city is coming down. Told you all these scriptures that he's going to be in the midst of it. He's going to dwell there forever. My throne is going to be there. Now it's finally going to come down to the people, with the people, but there's other people that's going to be left. Isaiah 62. Verse 4.
Isaiah 62 at verse 4. You shall no more be termed forsaken, neither shall your land any more be termed desolate, but you shall be called Hephzibah. Thank you. And your land Beulah, that word. For Yahuwah delighted in you, and your land shall be married.
And shall be what?
And your land shall be married.
And the land shall be married. Go ahead.
For as a young man marry a virgin, so shall your sons marry you. And as the bridegroom rejoice over the bride, so shall your Elohim rejoice over you.
Go ahead.
I've set a watchman upon your walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. You shall Salakia. You that make mention of Yahuwah, keep not silence, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth.
Shall he make it what?
A praise in the earth.
Shall he make it a praise in the earth? Revelations 21. So the old and the new is saying the same thing. Verse 2 again.
Verse 2. Revelation 21 and 2. And I, John, saw the Kodesh city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Elohim out of Shamaim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of Shamaim, saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men.
It's where?
It's with men.
So he had to make a new heaven and a new earth, right? Because everything was all messed up. But is he going to sit the earth? I mean, is he going to sit the new kingdom onto this defiled, nasty earth? Got to do that over too. Isaiah 65. Go ahead. Isaiah 65:17.
Isaiah 65, verse 17. For behold, I create new Shamaim and a new earth, for the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind.
Did I create a new Shamaim and a new earth? Did I get on that verse?
Yeah.
Isaiah 66, verse 22.
Isaiah 66, verse 22. For as the new Shamaim and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith Yahuwah, so shall your seed and your name remain.
Isaiah 41:18.
Isaiah 41 and 18. I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water.
You will do what?
Make the wilderness a pool of water, and the dry land springs of water.
So it's got to be done. So the first time when everything was made, nobody saw it. Adam didn't see it. He just was woken up and everything was there. Then when Eve was created, he didn't see that either because he was put to sleep. So this time it'll be for everybody to see it and witness it taking place. Is he going to do it where you can see it this time? Read that last verse again. Start at verse 18.
And I will open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water and the dry land springs of water. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, the shittah tree, and the myrtle, and the oil tree. I will set the desert, the fir tree, and the pine, the box tree together. that they may see and know and consider and understand together that the hand of Yahuwah has done this.
Now who did this?
The hand of Yahuwah have done this.
So he got to reverse everything from Adam's sin and turn it all back around. Isaiah 55:13.
Isaiah chapter 55 at verse 13. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree.
Instead of what?
The thorn.
What's the first mention of thorns?
Genesis.
Genesis, because of what Adam did. So it's got to be reversed.
Right.
This whole thing got to be reversed back.
Right.
Read.
Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree. Instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree. And it shall be to Yahuwah for a name.
For what?
For a name. For an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off.
Isaiah 30:25.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 25. And there shall be upon every high mountain and every high hill rivers and streams of water in the day of the great slaughter. When the towers fall.
When what?
The towers fall.
He letting you know all of this stuff is taking place in the same day. No. Nope, that's not 9/11. Read verse 25 again.
And there shall be upon every high mountain and upon every high hill rivers and streams of water in the day of the great slaughter, when the towers fall.
And what?
The towers fall.
That's 9/11.
I knew this thing was talking about America.
That's when the planes hit the building.
Babylon is New York.
Right, yeah, exactly. In the day of the great slaughter, all of this gonna happen in one day. Same time. Isaiah 44.
Isaiah chapter 44.
Pick it up at verse 1.
Verse 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob my servant, and Israel whom I have chosen. Thus saith Yahuwah that made you, and formed you from the womb, which will help you. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and you, Yeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my ruach upon your seed, and my blessing upon your offspring.
Read that verse again.
For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my ruach upon your seed, and my blessing upon your offspring.
Jump down to verse 23.
Verse 23. Sing, O you heavens, for Yahuwah have done it. Shout, you lower parts of the earth. Break forth into the singing, you mountains, O forest, and every tree therein. For Yahuwah have redeemed Jacob.
He have did what?
Redeemed Jacob.
He have redeemed Jacob. Go ahead.
And esteemed himself in Israel.
And esteemed, this is when this thing is, he reversing everything. All the sin is being reversed, and it's all happening in one day. As it's being destroyed and his people is being taken up, all of this stuff, at this time, I think it's going to be like what everybody think how he created it the first time. It's going to like be popping up as opposed to him actually doing it. I believe it's just going to be like happening from the way that I read it. Isaiah 52 verse 9.
Isaiah 52, verse 9. Break forth into joy. Sing together, you waste places of Jerusalem. For Yahuwah hath comforted his people. He hath redeemed Jerusalem.
He have what?
Redeemed Jerusalem.
He have redeemed Jerusalem. Isaiah 35, verse 1.
Isaiah 35 and verse 1. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them. The desert shall rejoice and blossom at the rose. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy and singing. The esteem of Lebanon shall be given unto it, the excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the esteem of Yahuwah and the excellency of our Elohim. Strengthen you the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your Elohim will come with vengeance, even Elohim with a recompense. He will come and save you.
He will do what?
Come and save you.
So this is, again, all of this stuff, the sin that's been on this earth, he got to reverse it and turn it all the way around. Revelations 20. Verse 1.
Revelation chapter 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from Shamayim, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, an old serpent, which is the devil and Shaitan.
Jump down to verse 3.
Verse 3. And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more.
He shall do what?
Deceive the nations no more.
So who is it left that can be deceived? How can people be deceived at this moment?
Yeah, that was came in cleave to us, people that still flesh.
So it's some people that can still be deceived during the 1,000-year reign. Where do they come from?
The eyes of the Gentiles.
Where? So they survived somehow? Where do these people that read verse 3 again?
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more.
So he shall deceive the nations no more. Oh, okay. He shall deceive the nations no more. Where do these people come from that he's deceiving?
Magog and God.
Yeah?
Say they will rebel.
But yeah, right? He's saying he locked him up that he can deceive the nations no more until 1,000 years. Where do these people come from? More specific. Who is left that can be deceived? Let's see. Isaiah chapter 2. Pick it up at verse 2.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 2 and verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahuwah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
All what?
Nations shall flow unto it.
All nations shall flow into it. Go ahead.
And many people shall go and say, come you, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, to the house of Elohim, to the house of the Elohim of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
Neither shall they learn war anymore. Now we got to figure out where these people come from. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 16. Yep, Zechariah chapter 14.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 14 and verse
16.
16.
In fact, pick it up at 15.
15. And so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, and of the donkey, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents, as this plague. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King and Yahuwah of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
So do what?
Keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
So everybody that was in that war that is left, so it's going to be a great army of people, over 200 million man army that comes against the nation of Israel. And everybody that's left from all of these people that come against us, that will be these people. They will still be mortal people, still be able to die. All right. No, this is something else. Most of them is dead. So right here, these are still mortal people that's still going to have to come up to the feast year by year. Some kind of way, they ain't going to want to keep doing it. But they said it's 2 hours. So
Y'all be keeping people in them butts and seats for hours.
Yeah, want to finish
couple more. Read that last verse again. Verse 16. Zechariah 14:16.
Zechariah 14:16. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which shall come against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahuwah of hosts, and keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
Do what?
Keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
Verse 17.
And it shall be that whoso will not come up of the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahuwah of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain.
Even upon what?
Upon them shall be no rain.
Even upon them it shall be no rain. So again, mortal people will be a part of this. This will be the righteous. The righteous people won't have to worry about dying no more. The people that died in that first and was resurrected in the first one, they won't have to face death anymore. But these people right here still can die in the millennium. Get Isaiah 65. This was within the 1,000 years. This is why we want to be a part of the other people. Exactly, Philly. So you better get the hate out your heart. Isaiah 65 and verse 20.
Isaiah 65 and verse 20. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not fulfilled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old. But the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed.
See what he said right there? He said, there shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days. For the child, notice what it's calling him, for the child shall die 100. This is back to people being like Adam was in the beginning. So you 100 years old and considered
a child.
This is back like Adam was in the beginning.
So right now we embryo.
There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days, for the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed. I think exactly. No more of this stuff. And remember, he told you that the serpent is going to be locked away. He can't deceive these people no more. So now if you do something, who is it on? You. There ain't no saying, the serpent, the woman that you gave me, she tricked me. The serpent beguiled me. No, that's off the table. So if you do something now,
It's on you.
it's on you. I'm gonna break. That's why it says I rule over you with the rod of iron. Right? I'm gonna break your head because it's on you now.
Now, is this only the nations? Or is
This is some Israel is still here as well. Micah chapter 4, verse 1. Micah chapter 4, verse 1.
Micah chapter 4, verse 1. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of Yahuwah shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall flow unto it.
And the what?
The people shall flow unto
And
it.
the people shall flow unto it, meaning you got to go and keep the feast. You got to keep all of the festivals that's going to be still intact. And if you don't come, he withhold the rain. If you don't go, you will get sick because you have to go in order to eat from the tree that produces its fruit every month. So the minute that you say I ain't going, that means you're going to miss out on that fruit for that month. You're going to get sick. I got to come down and break your head because you know better.
another nation?
It's for exactly. If you don't do it, you're going to die. You're going to get sick and die. So with some people, it's going to be greater in the kingdom. Right? Y'all know that? Luke 19, verse 17. Luke 19, verse 17.
Luke chapter 19, verse 17. And he said unto him, well, you good servant, because you have been faithful in in a very little, have you authority over 10 cities.
So some people is going to get to have their own cities in there. This is why you know it can't be no pride in there. Because you can't be jealous and say, man, I was just as good as him. Nigga.
Right.
No, I was keeping the laws better than him. Nigga, give me 5 cities. No.
Real though.
Can't be. This is why you know it can't be no pride in there. Because that's you. If it was, you automatically know that this will happen.
Or if you ain't over a city at all,
Exactly.
you are the people in the city.
I'm just glad I'm not awake.
Exactly.
At this point.
Isaiah 4.
Oh,
Matter of fact, before we get there, Zechariah 8:23. So we can find out what this passage really means.
Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take.
How many?
10 men.
10 men. He said this person will have over 10 cities, right? Go ahead.
That 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is Yehudi, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that Elohim is with you.
So this is what this passage is really talking about. We always talking about, see, they're going to be grabbing on us. No. The average person is not going to get to be over the 10 cities.
I got 10 Gentiles, you got 10 Gentiles, he got 10 Gentiles, he got 10.
No, that's not what it's talking about. Now Isaiah 4 and 1. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man.
Oh, the boys about to get them wives. To get that 7. Woo-wee. In the kingdom, boy, if you get that 7. Wait a minute. Only way you can get these, you must still be mortal. Now, who would want to be mortal at this moment? To get the 7. Go ahead. Hey, you mean I can forsake the kingdom and I can get the. Hey, I don't want them 10 cities. Get them 10. I'm ready to get that 7. Now you see how this don't make no sense, right? Because you would have to be mortal to get this. Nobody don't want to be mortal at this moment. Read on.
Saying, we will eat our own bread, wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach.
So these people will still have reproach on them if you were still mortal. Where?
In that day shall the branch of Yahuwah be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel.
This is showing you that some of Israel will still be left behind and still mortal as well. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remain in Jerusalem shall be called Kodesh, even every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem.
Read that one more time.
And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remain in Jerusalem shall be called Kodesh, every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem.
So remember, it's the city gonna be there. People gonna need to get there and walk there with you. Isaiah 35 verse 8. Isaiah 35 verse 8.
Isaiah chapter 35 and verse 8. And an highway shall be there.
And what?
A highway shall be there.
A highway shall be there. For what?
And a way. And it shall be called the way of Kodesh.
The what?
The way of Kodesh.
So it's going to be a highway to get to the city for the nations that's going to come. That's why they're going to say 10 men out of 10 nations shall grab a hold of him that is a Jew and say, we will go with you. Because he's going to lead them to the city. Isaiah 11 verse 16.
Isaiah 11 verse 16. And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria.
From where?
From Assyria.
This is one of the famous verses that's been twisted to oblivion. Read that again.
And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria.
Hey, why did you go to Egypt? What did you go to Egypt for?
Trying to be on that highway.
We all went to Egypt because of this verse. We was convinced that we going over there because he gonna get us from here. This what was fed to us. This is the verses that we went to Egypt off of.
Boys had faith.
Talk about the fleet though. I went to see the pyramid.
What you say?
I went to see the pyramid.
Boy said he was just visiting.
This is what convinced us to go. Because he got to save us from these places. And this don't got nothing to do with it.
And there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt. Golly.
Terrible.
Didn't even say in Egypt.
Isaiah 49.
Didn't say it.
He's still young.
Isaiah 49:11.
Isaiah 49 verse 11. And I will make all my mountains a way, and my highways shall be exalted.
Why are the highways exalted?
Gotta go up.
You gotta go up to get to the mountain of Yah. Right? Read that again.
Behold, and I will make my mountains a way, and my highways shall be exalted.
And my what?
My highways shall be exalted.
And my highways shall be exalted. Right? So the highways are going to be exalted so you can go up. Isaiah 62 and 10.
Isaiah chapter 62, verse 10. Go through the gates. Prepare you the way of the people. Cast up the highway. Gather out the stones. Lift up a standard for the people.
Do what?
Lift up a standard for the people.
Lift up a standard for the people. So make this road clear for the people. Because they got to do something. That's in this, that's left. Go back to that Zechariah 14 again. He got it all laid out for them, prepared, so they can come to the mountain. But some of them ain't going to want to do it. Verse 17.
And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahuwah of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, they have no rain.
So he got the roads and everything clear for you to come. No excuses for you not to come. But it's the people that's not going to come. And you got to stop the rain so you will know who actually giving you these things. Deuteronomy 8 and 12. Matter of fact, pick it up at 11.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 11. Beware that you forget not Yahuwah your Elohim.
Let's see what?
That you forget not Yahuwah your Elohim.
Don't forget, y'all got to come up. You got to come up and get your fruits for this month. If you don't come, you're going to get sick. Go ahead.
And not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command you this day, lest when you have eaten and are full and have built goodly houses and dwell therein, and when the herds of your flocks multiply, and your silver and your gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied, then your heart be lifted up.
See, I got to remind you of who giving you this. So I'm going to shut the rain down. Everything going to shut down if you don't come. So it's been that 2 hours and something. So we'll stop, and the next time I do up, we'll show how they're going to rebel and come and fight against him for the last time. But not actually fight, but it's a reason that they're going to come up and surround the city. Stay tuned for the next exciting episode.
Here you go.
Of the 1,000-year reign.
With that, we say shalom.
Questions, comments, concerns. You loved it, you hate it.
Stand it.
Can't stand it. Don't do it again. Teach this one again.
I loved it.
He loved it.
Revelation 21:3 though.
Revelation 21:3. Boy say, I got a sermon that for you, brother.
All right. Revelation chapter 21, verse 3.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
And I heard a great voice out of Shamaim.
Stop. Who is that great voice? These words not in red. These words are not in red. So who is this great voice that John heard? And the angel? Don't know the
It's not them.
It's not who's them. Who?
It's not the Father or the Son.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a malak of some sort? I would think so. You said you would think so? Okay.
Yeah.
because it's a great voice out of heaven, you know. I was dealing with that on my own, and I thought, like, you know what I'm saying? The word wasn't read, so I don't know who that'll be.
What was the inside?
At the end of 20?
Let's look at hold up.
I was dealing with this
Well,
myself.
I don't know. You said then you too. You can't get caught up in that red writing. As if you look at verse 5.
Right. So who's sitting on the throne?
That's
That's the Most
Mashiach.
High. Oh, that's the Most High. Is he on the throne here, or is he?
This got to be Mashiach, because it says, look at verse 5. It says, and he who was sitting on the throne said, "Seek, I make all new." It's not in red, is it?
No, that's why I thought that would be the Most High.
And he said to me, "Write, for these words are true and trustworthy." And he said to me, "It is done. I am the Alpha." Or they say Alpha and Omega in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they say in here Aleph and Tav.
Right.
I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. To the one who thirsts, I shall give of the fountain of water of life without payment. And to the one who overcomes shall inherit this, and I shall be his Elohim,
Right.
and he shall be my son.
Right. Christ called us a friend. Ain't this the Father right here?
I believe that's Mashiach.
Mashiach.
Because
Remember, he said he
would be his
created.
friend, though?
Remember, he told us that he was going to create these things new by the hand of the Most High.
Okay. Right.
So the Most High wasn't the one who was going to be creating it.
Okay.
So when we look back here at that verse that he picked it up at, he says, where is that at? He that sat upon the throne said, "Behold, I make all things new." So when he created, he said, he created everything again by the hand of the Most High.
Right.
So it wasn't him himself.
So he says, "I make all things new." And he said unto me, "Write, for these things are true and faithful." And he said unto me, "It is done."
And John is actually quoting him
Exactly.
at this moment.
Exactly.
So it's not like he not saying this, but John is quoting him.
Because he having a vision.
Right.
So
That's
Mashiach
why
gonna call us his sons at this point.
Sons of Elohim.
Right.
He is the Elohim.
yeah, he's the one that we was actually
We
with.
That we've been dealing with since
Right.
jump. So he says, "I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end." And the Most High don't have a beginning.
Right. Right. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So he said, "I am the beginning."
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Check.
Check.
Let me check it out. Mom. Go ahead, moms.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that too.
Yeah, that's some small scale stuff. That's not really deceptive. That's not really fooling nobody. This not really fooling nobody. This last deception is gonna be very deceptive. It's gonna make billions believe it.
Yeah, somebody just told me the other day that the Messiah is here.
Yeah, it was the Christian church saying.
He told me the Messiah is here. You need to be looking at the Quran and the Bible.
Oh, Lord.
I was like, the Quran. I say, okay, please don't believe. We ain't going by no Quran.
Quran tell you to look at
You
first.
gonna miss out. You gonna miss out. The Messiah is here. I said, okay.
Well, where is he at?
Who is he talking about? Paragon?
No, it's some Christian dude.
He said, no, I did ask where was he. He said, no, I ain't gonna confuse you. You just need to look us up on YouTube.
Into the desert. He out there.
Somewhere and listen to
He says he is in the desert. We're not there. If he tells you on YouTube, search not that channel.
I told him that, yeah, he's here, but he ain't here on earth. So I don't know.
Anybody tell you anything about the Quran, man?
It's Revelation 1:13 through 15 talking about him being.
Stay away from them type of conversations. It's not proper.
Said to be black.
You know what I'm saying? As soon as they get to talking that nonsense, like,
Revelation 1 and 13. That's saying bright and shiny.
yeah, but this gonna be in this particular time when they say he in the desert, it's gonna be because it's gonna be somebody over there doing something in the desert.
Dressed in a robe down to the feet, girded about the chest with a golden band, and his head and his hairs were white like wool, and it's snow, and his eyes were a flame of fire, and his feet like burnished brass, as if refined in a furnace. His voice is the sound of many waters. Saying is that saying he's shining rather than the description of him being black.
Yeah, that's coming from the from the time when he was in the furnace,
but this is his esteemed form, but he still, because when you look at what's that joint? That Ezekiel when he said the body of the color of world is so it's definitely a physical description because he's seeing it, he's having a vision. So excuse me, y'all. Hold on. We still answering questions. Hold on, y'all.
Hold it down, y'all, real quick. Hold it down.
Answering questions. So the question is Revelations 1 and 13 through 15, talking about Mashiach being bright and shiny like fire instead of him being a black man. I would have to say no. It's describing his physical appearance. So when we see in verse 15, it says his feet were brown as if he had burned in the furnace. And then what did it say? His feet were like brass as if they were burned in the furnace. And his voice is the sound of many waters. It's all a physical description. They hear the sound of his voice. They see in his shape. They see in his hair. They see in his eyes. They see in his feet. So it's definitely a physical description, which includes the color.
So he said, like in comparison to Matthew 17, where it says, he was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white.
So they can get it.
He says in Matthew 17:2, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses, Elias, talking with him.
Yeah, it's definitely a physical description of him.
And like he said, but that's inclusive of the light, because he said his hairs and his head and his hairs were white like wool. He said head and hair. So that's talking about what I would think is that shining like the light. You know what I'm saying? So it's both.
Yeah, these is all definitely physical descriptions, but mind you, they also visions that's being seen. So within this vision, it's given a physical depiction of what he saw. So I would definitely say, I mean, we already know that if you're describing his color. That was the last question. Yeah, the only question.
Any more questions in here? Going once, going twice. Any more questions inside of the room? So, to my son.
All right, I got a question. He does just like raise it.
Yeah, they do, man. They do. You a murderer?
Right, that bitch asking, any of y'all murderers in here? All right, let's pray out, y'all.
Question, Matthew 24:26. Something just popped in.
Hold on.
One more question.
One more.
Matthew 24:26.
Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, will not forth, behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not.
What's the question, Doc? What's the question, Doc?
Yeah, what's the question with that?
Revelation 1 and 20.
Somebody just said something.
There's no question.
Revelation 1 and 12. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I've seen 7 golden candlesticks. 1 and 12?
That's what you just said. Does it line up with the lesson? Oh, you're asking, does Matthew 24 and 26 line up with the lesson?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Use that.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a part of the lesson.
Yes, that was a part of the lesson.
God in Israel put Revelation 1 and 12.
I guess the fact that he actually turned to see, I don't know. So, like it's kind of like, Stage right.
You know those things,
We
man.
do the same.
Look. Yeah, you gotta tell me on those things. We not
He said I would.
today will never. You rehearse every day.
So you
Right,
got-
every day.
you say you got to rehearse. All right, y'all. Let's pray.
Hold it down. I know y'all hungry. We'll get to the food in just a second.
Father, y'all, once again, we stand before you. Thankful for your word that went forth, Father. Thankful for your Ruach, Father, that resides in us, Father. Thankful, Father, for every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Father, Father, from your mouth, understanding, Father, that we cannot live by bread alone, but by every word, Father. Yes. We thank you right now, Father, for every lesson that's going forth, Father, for the words, for the fellowship, Father. We thank you. We thank you for the understanding, for the wisdom, Father, to be able to discern when it's truly you and when it's truly not, which we know this is key, that we be not deceived, Father. We give thanks right now, Father, asking that you would just continue to walk with us, Father, lead us, guide us into righteousness, Father, order our steps and direct our path, Father. Continue to open up your word, Father, so they can be understood, Father. Make it plain, Father. We pray and ask, Father, that you will continue to pour out your Ruach into us, Father, allowing us to speak your words, Father, and not of our own hearts, Father. Allowing your word to go forth, Father. Use us as vessels for your words to flow through, Father, so that we can be a light unto someone else. Father, all these things we pray and we give thanks. B'Shem Yehovah, B'Kah Yehoshua HaMashiach, B'Rubaka Kodesh, so be it.
So be it.
Avinu Shabbat Shemayim.
Avinu Shabbat Shemayim.
Ikadosh.
Ikadosh.
Shem Kah.
Shem Kah.
Tabo.
Tabo.
Malkut Kah.
Malkut Kah.
Yeaseh.
Yeaseh.
Ratzon Kah.
Ratzon Kah.
Ba'aretz.
Ba'aretz.
Kasher.
Kasher.
Nasha.
Nasha.
B'Shemayim.
B'Shemayim.
Tein Lanu.
Tein Lanu.
Hayom.
Hayom.
Likim.
Likim.
Ikanu.
Ikanu.
Usla.
Usla.
Lanu.
Lanu.
Eight. Ashmatenu.
Ashmatenu.
Kasher.
Kasher.
Sukim.
Sukim.
Anaknu.
Anaknu.
Lasher.
Lasher.
Ashmu.
Ashmu.
Lanu.
Lanu.
Ba'al.
Ba'al.
Tabinu.
Tabinu.
Lede.
Lede.
Masa.
Masa.
Ki.
Ki.
In. Hasulanu.
Hasulanu.
Min.
Min.
Hara.
Hara.
Ki.
Ki.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamam Laka.
Amam Laka.
Wahagibora.
Wahagibora.
Wahati Parade.
Wahati Parade.
Lome.
Lome.
Ulami.
Ulami. So be it.
Get better, boy. Get better.
Hallelujah.